Hey guys, Danny Johnson here, and today I wanted to talk a little bit about exhaust systems and some of the names of some of the parts to them. You'll hear these terms often if you're modding your car, and so this might help you understand how the exhaust system is set up and what the pieces are called. So we'll start first by the engine here. This is the cylinder head coming right through here, and on the side of the cylinder head you have the first piece of the puzzle, which is called the exhaust manifold. And so as you see, this is a V8, so on each side you have 4 exhaust ports that are coming out, 4 on each side to make a total of 8. And as you see, each port leads into the same tube there at the bottom. And so that's called an exhaust manifold. Now, a lot of people will trade these out for what you call headers, and the main difference between headers and these is that each of these tubes, before it reaches this collector, has basically its own tube going all the way down to where the mid pipe normally would be going, and I'll explain that in a second. So anyway, first off, just wanted to show you from the top view, that is what is called the exhaust manifold, that silver piece there. And you have the exhaust basically collecting from all of the cylinders on both sides. So now I'll put down a rag here so we can turn this over. So from those manifolds on each side, this is where the exhaust is coming down, and basically these boxes here are called the catalytic converters, or the resonators, and basically their purpose is to help trap some of the carbon and everything that's coming out of the exhaust for emissions reasons, and these will be robbing pretty much the most power of your entire setup. Between that and the headers, that's probably where you'd actually make the most gains for horsepower. So on Mustangs, you can have anywhere from 4 to 6 of these, and basically, anyway, they come down off of the engine here. These ones are pointed upwards as they go into the engine, and if you see some of my exhaust install videos, which I'll put in the description, it'll show you how to remove this. But this piece right here as it comes down is known as the mid pipe because it's the middle section. This is where you also hear terms such as H-pipe, X-pipe, and prochamber, that kind of thing. And the reason why, as you can tell, is this forms an H right here, and this portion is meant to help balance the exhaust flow as it's coming out of the engine. Because the exhaust isn't flowing completely even on each side. You have bursts of exhaust flowing through here. You have a firing order in the engine of different cylinders firing at different times. And so anyway, this helps to balance that flow. If you're switching to an X pipe, said to be one of the best flowing mid pipes, basically this pipe and this pipe come together like the H pipe, but they actually form pretty much one solid pipe in the middle and then branch back off, and that gives the exhaust a chance to better flow with itself. One of the main things we won't get too much into is scavenging, and that's basically a term meaning that as exhaust pressure is passing by, it will create a vacuum and basically suck the other exhaust side out a little bit farther. So on headers you can have the scavenging effect, and it's helping pull the exhaust out of the other cylinders, and same thing can happen here, and so that's why an X pipe may be a little more efficient. So we have so far the manifolds, or it could be headers at the very front, the mid pipe, and now we'll get into what's called the catback. The catback is the last portion of the exhaust, and as you can see, the reason why they call it that is because it is after the catalytic converters. Okay, so the catback is this section here, and it comes back into 2 mufflers. On some of the newer Mustangs, those mufflers are way back here, but anyway, the mufflers, basically what it is kind of like a mouse maze in there, and the exhaust comes in and it has to find its way, through different chambers in order to come out. and so that's where it'll quiet it down, and it can give you different tones if you go to different exhaust systems. So anyway, that's what these are here. Those are the mufflers. Now from here the exhaust basically drops down and goes over the axle and comes back up and then to the tailpipe on each side. If you look at the SVT Cobra, this would be the 99 Cobra, the 2000 Cobra R, the 2001 Cobra, and the 0304 Cobra, and a lot of the newer Mustangs actually, since the S550 it has the independent rear suspension, is also like this, but it's basically the same setup coming down, except for the exhaust doesn't go up over the axle, it just goes straight and then out. So basically, that's the exhaust setup, and what you can be doing in order to increase your horsepower is to add headers in the front. You can delete these cats on what's called an off-road mid-pipe, and they call it an off-road because it's supposed to be for off-road use, for track use, to stay illegal. But you can do that, and then you can also go to a less restrictive catback system. In fact, the SLP mufflers on my Mach 1 are straight pipes, which is also known as a cherry bomb. But you can look right through the pipe and see from one end to the other. It's just a hollow pipe with some insulation around it. And believe it or not, you can actually change the volume on those straight pipes. Just by how insulated they are. So SLP, for example, sells a SLP Loudmouth 1 muffler and a Loudmouth 2, and they look identical, but one is actually insulated more. It has little dot abrasions in the inside and that kind of thing. But you can actually have it be louder or quieter even with just a straight pipe. So obviously open headers would be if the exhaust ended right after the manifold or the headers. And you have downturns where basically people will cut it right here on the end and just put little downturn pipes to stick to the ground. Something that's also kind of fun is the electric cutouts. You can come in here and you can add in an electric solenoid that basically, when you open a switch, it would divert the exhaust. It'd be a little bit hard to do on these. To bypass these catalytic converters, it'd have to be up front more, but you can do that, and basically when you want to, you hit the switch and you can have full open exhaust, and then if you decided you didn't want to do that, then you can just close the switch. Anyway, that pretty well wraps it up for a basic exhaust layout video, and we can do some clip videos of different exhaust setups as well with the other ones that I have and some of my friends have. So thanks for watching.